Chris Eubank Jr. will fight Conor Benn in their long-awaited showdown. That's on April the 26th at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The UK press tour ahead of the fight literally kicked off in Manchester on Tuesday and ended up with Eubank Jr. slapping Benn in the face with an egg.
Scrambled egg.
The two, as Gareth A. Davies said, a scrambled egg. I'm not quite sure what he saw that we perhaps didn't. The two will come face to face again tonight when their second press conference at the Spurs Stadium gets underway. Join us now to look ahead to tonight's press. I'm not going to call him Eggy Hearn because it's been done a million times. Head of Matchroom, Eddie Hearn joins. Hello, Eddie.
How you doing, boys?
Good.
How many people say Eggy Hearn and then grin like you've never heard it before? I refuse to do it.
Since Tuesday, only you. I think I got I got one on Instagram, but it's kind of a bit old now, Andy.
Yes.
Apparently one of the eggs was coming my way. I don't know, so I was just pleased to escape.
Whoa.
You know.
I have to say, Eddie, I wasn't involved in it and I watched it. I thought it was amazing. I really thought it was amazing. I also thought as amazing was your conversation with Ben Shalom straight after it. Has everything cooled down? You must have had time to watch it all back now.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I thought it was a glass or a bottle or something because I really didn't anticipate an egg, if I'm honest. Like, we're standing there, it's a head-to-head, and you just hear this crash around Conor Benn's face and stuff going everywhere, and, you know, I didn't really think it might be an egg. So Nigel Benn slipped round the side to go and grab him round the throat. I followed Nigel to kind of grab him, and Ben was a bit unlucky, sort of come up on the stage and tried to sort of, I don't know what he was doing to me, but I just told him to get out of the way. And yeah, I got to be honest, like, I know we live in a bit of a crazy world at the moment where, I don't know, is it passable? I don't think it's really on, to be honest, to clump someone around the face with something, but, you know, it's the game. And sometimes if it's someone, it's okay. If it's someone else, it's not okay. But it's done now, and, you know, listen, from a promotional point of view, my job is to always make sure the fight and the event is as big as possible. You have to say that Eubank has done that. I mean, this fight was going to sell out anyway. Today we had 130,000 people on the pre-sale waiting list, just Spurs members, not general sale. We've got 65,000 tickets. This fight could have filled this stadium 4 times. So it will be, in my opinion, the biggest fight I think the country has ever seen the time it comes around. Tonight, we'll just have a nice wall of security between the two. But, yeah, we're riled up and we're ready to fight. I'm bang up for it. Nigel Benn, Conor Benn, Eubank, probably Eubank's old man at some point as well. It's going to be unbelievable.
Eddie, is Conor Benn still fuming? Because, again, on the stage yesterday, he looked really angry. And I just wondered, because I know it's 24 hours on, things have calmed down. Is he still as mad as he was yesterday?
I mean, definitely not as mad as when it first happened, but, you know, Darren, it's like this is the fight game. It's not something that he's going to forget about, and that's why today they won't be within touching distance, because if they were, something bad's going to happen. You know, it's like a one-upmanship in this sport. You know, you've done that, and, you know, there's got to be payback. But, you know, as I said to him, payback can come April 26. I've never seen Conor Benn train harder for a fight. Fast forward 48 hours from that incident, he's just turned it up a notch. He's like a man possessed. But you've got to take that energy to the fight. Don't worry about, you know, squaring off here today. Settle the score April 26.
Eddie, let me ask you, how many of these that we're seeing, we saw one Tuesday, one tonight, how many more have we got? The reason I asked that, you said they are going to be supposedly squaring up to each other a bit later on the pitch. I just wonder, at one stage, if Conor Benn tries to get Eubank back before the fight starts, and then you risk an injury to one of the boxers, of course, something you do not want.
Well, that, you know, yeah, that's the main thing about what we saw the other day. I mean, you know, I know it's okay to laugh about it now, but if the egg goes in the eye, you know, you scratch the eye in any way, you're going to fail your eye test for the fight. So you've got to be a little bit careful, and that's why they won't come face-to-face today. This is the last time they'll be face-to-face. Okay. I think they've got some pretty major interviews on terrestrial TV and etc. and the build-up to this fight. But, you know, I spoke to Robert Smith today from the British Boxing Board of Control about a number of points. And one of them was, look, let's just be smart. Let's just get through today, right? And then move on and you know, move forward to a massive event.
Eddie, this is a bit of a strange question, but with Conor Benn, do you think this fight for him, because I know you don't represent Chris Eubank, but for Conor Benn, do you think this fight would mean more to him to win this fight than a world title?
Yeah, I think he answered that the other day in an interview, you know, and especially now. Like, you've got to remember that the two fights that, you know, my family were heavily involved with, Chris Eubank Sr. winning the first fight in Birmingham in 1990 for the world middleweight title, and then the very controversial draw a few years later at Old Trafford. So I think the Eubanks are kind of fine with the history. You know, they got one win and sneaked a draw. You know, Nigel Benn lost the first fight by stoppage and feels like he got robbed in the second fight. So I think for the Benn side, this isn't really Conor Benn against Chris Eubank Jr. This is Ben Eubank 3. And, you know, for many years, I think they've wanted their shot at revenge. And you can see how invested Nigel Benn is in this fight. I mean, especially when he went round and dealt with Chris Eubank Jr. the other night. But, like, even in training camp and, like, the passion that the Benns have to win this fight, it's, you know, it's frightening, the intensity that these guys are training with. And he is his father's son. He's going to come out the gates like a lunatic on April 26th from the first bell. No measuring out. You know, no just trying to play a little game of chess. It's going to be violent warfare from the first bell.
Eddie, just going back to what you were saying before about the supply and demand of this, it seems to me that the demand outweighs the supply. Has there been a conversation since it's all gone a little bit nuts to maybe stage it at Wembley Stadium or not?
No, I mean, look, we've got everything signed, the contracts are done, and we love this stadium, Andy.
Sure.
I mean, this Spurs stadium, I've just been out on the pitch, unbelievable. I was with His Excellency earlier today, who said to me, oh, do we move it to Wembley? I was like, no, we're locked in for Spurs this time. But listen, you may even see 2, you may see 3, and maybe we go to Wembley in September, who knows? But let's get the first fight done first. And listen, selling out a stadium on the first day is a lovely problem to have.
Yeah.
I wish I had that problem every single day.
I bet you do.
And we're going to have this problem on Friday.
We really are. Stay there because I want to get your view on this. The boxer CEO Ben Shalom joined White and Jordan earlier this afternoon. He had his say on Chris Eubank Jr.'s egg slap on Conor Benn. Have a listen.
Should he put hands on another fighter? Probably not. But on this occasion, I have to say, it was pretty funny. Eddie's just a bit of a balloon where he's like a excitable puppy dog. 1 minute he's angry, 1 minute he's happy, 1 minute but I like Eddie. How can you not like someone like that? It's funny.
You like Eddie?
I do like Eddie. I find him slightly immature at times. I do. I think myself, Conor, Eddie, and anyone around thought it was a lot worse than it was.
Listen, let me ask you 2 questions on the back of that, Eddie. Firstly, what do you make of his comments? And also, we heard you speak after it all happened. You were adamant that Ben Shalom was in on it in some kind of way. Has your view to that changed at all or not?
Probably. I mean, he's got history around press conferences like that, which I won't go into. But, like, I think at the end of the day, I'm a very, very emotional guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, I'm super chilled. I love to have a laugh. If you whack my mate round the face, especially with what I thought was a glass, yeah, I'm getting stuck in. I'm not cowering out the back. I'm a big girl's blouse, but I'll still have a go. And at the time, I was fuming. And I looked at Shalom, who came up to me before the press conference and said, just to let you know, if anything happens at the press conference, I don't know anything about it. And I thought, that's a strange thing to say. And then when it all kicked off, like, you know, listen, it was what it was. But yeah, I make no excuses. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I was fuming. I think it's a liberty, to be honest with you. I mean, you can say that it's funny, but we work in don't forget, this is not YouTube boxing. Right, we do a huge amount of work in the community, and we're talking about how grassroots boxing can change the mindset of young kids today, right, in terms of discipline, respect, manners, understanding the true values of the sport, not slapping people around the face with an egg. Okay, so, but I get the world we live in today. It's funny, it goes viral, everyone wants to see it. I'm not like walking around Westminster with a placard saying ban Eubank. I'm just saying that it's always in this sport, one rule for one and one rule for another. You got Simon Jordan sitting there yesterday going, oh, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's only an egg. It's like, if that was Conor Benn, Simon Jordan would be calling for Conor Benn to be banned for life. So we live in a world of hypocrisy. As for Ben Shalom, I think the geezer's quite amusing, actually. I do. I was with him earlier. He even asked me to go on the boxer board, which completely baffled me. I think he's an interesting character, and we're getting on well. We're making good fights, and there's a great rivalry in this fight. But as you saw in the Bivol fight, I am unbelievably emotional about sport, about winning, and about the people I represent. So if we're in a confrontation like that and you lay hands on one of my fighters, of course I'm going to be angry. You know, and by the way, if my fighter's in the fight, of course I'm going to be on my feet screaming and shouting and making a fool out of myself, just like I did in the Callum Smith fight or the Bivol fight at the weekend, because I live every day with passion in my heart, and I'm emotional and I'm fired up and I want to win bad. And after Tuesday, I want Conor Benn to win bad. I want him to knock Eubank, spark out in front of 70,000 people, get in the ring and do somersaults with Nigel Benn. And that's called having a passion for life. And if you ain't got one, don't talk to me.
Well, Eddie, to be fair, the next question for me is probably an obvious one, is that obviously the Saudi group in terms of boxing have been fantastic at making these big fights. Could they make a fight between you and Ben Shalom?
I think it would be a little bit of a mismatch, Darren. I mean, you know, for many reasons. One, because I'm about 60 pounds heavier than him as well. But no, as I said, one thing I can't do is fight. I'll always have a go, but I'll leave that to the boxers. I just love it, you know, and I must say I didn't think it was an egg. If I knew it was an egg, would I have been as angry? I don't know, maybe, but in the heat of the moment, we're a team. We're one team, and we're a team together. And I back all my fighters. And if you want to whack one of my fighters at a press conference, I'm not just going to stand there and just go, oh, that's absolutely fine.
Eddie, listen, thank you.
I never apologise for my behaviour.
I know everyone wants a piece of you. It's such a busy afternoon. Really appreciate your time here on Drive on talkSPORT. And listen, there's two ways to look at it. One, you can say it was terrible that he did it, or the other way, you can see that maybe the funny side. But either way, it's got everyone talking about this fight now.
Yeah, I say this, Andy. There's a lot worse things that happen in the world.
Yeah.
Should we see that in the sport of boxing? In my opinion, no. Will it sell the fight bigger than it ever was going to be? Absolutely. So, listen, we move on. No one got hurt, thankfully. And let's just get ready, as I said, for one of the biggest fights Britain has ever seen.
Eggy Hearn.
Oh, honestly.
Thanks so much. Give our regards to Hen Shalom as well. Been working on that one as well.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I'll use that one, yeah.
Have a great afternoon. Thanks,
Cheers,
Eddie.
Eddie.
Much appreciated.
Cheers, mate.
It was an unbelievable one. I've watched it back so many times. And you know when you go on YouTube and you just go through a rabbit hole and it just pops up with other algorithms, it's all that.
All that.
It's all that.
It's doing its job.
It is.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.